What's up and welcome back to another Koze Daily Brew. Today I am drinking a coffee along with you guys. Leave me a comment down below. Are you watching this in the morning, in the afternoon, at night? I just want to know out of curiosity. And today we're going to be talking about being vegan or plant-based, however you want to call it. I did like a full podcast on my history with being vegan and just my experience with it and how I got to like where I'm at today and like the way that I eat food and the way that I basically like live out my lifestyle. And if you guys want to hear all that, I'll leave a link to that down below so you guys can go and check that out in case you're curious. But today I figured we would do like a shorter brew or a shorter discussion on all the reasons that I just love being vegan. So any of you guys out there that are vegan or plant-based, or even if you're not, even if you just have a way of living that you've discovered for you that just feels like it really resonates with your belief system and your values and your core, I think that when you find those kinds of lifestyles and things that just make sense to you, it just clicks in your brain and it's almost just like it was meant to be. That's how I kind of felt growing up being vegetarian and then moving into being vegan. It just always kind of made sense to me. I don't know what it was. It was just one of those things that clicked, and once it clicked, I couldn't unclick it. Doing that and like living out this lifestyle, I think a lot of people would automatically assume, or at least a few years ago even, because it's more common now, but automatically assume that I would live a life of more deprivation. But I don't. Like, I still get to drink an amazing coffee every morning. It's like a hazelnut creamer. I will leave the name of it in the description box, but I've talked about it like a million times. I've been drinking it for like years now, and it's honestly better than any coffee I ever had before I ever kicked dairy. And even just when I think about like pizza or my favorite like cookies, like I'm a chocolate chip cookie, like that is my weakness. If I smell chocolate chip cookies, I'm done. And I don't have much of a sweet tooth, but when I figured out how to make the best chocolate chip cookies, vegan or not, they're like the chewiest chocolate chip cookies ever. That was such a satisfying feeling to me, being able to, I guess, play around and explore with trying to recreate things that align with the way that I'm trying to live my lifestyle. Does that make sense? I guess that would be like one of the first things, is discovering just like amazing vegan treats. Okay, so another thing that I love about living a plant-based lifestyle, it aligns so much with just my values and my core. So the way that I do what I do in terms of being vegan, I feel like there's a really bad rep that vegans get, that if you're vegan, that you're gonna like sit at a dinner table and make everybody else feel uncomfortable, or you know, that you like judge other people for the way that they eat. And I do my best not to be that kind of vegan, only because I just know that I don't like when people judge the way that I eat either. Like, I know that there's times I'm eating a dish and someone that I'm really close to, like a good friend or a family member, will think that what I'm eating is really gross because it's just like not what they would normally eat. And I know that that makes me feel uncomfortable. Like, if I'm eating something that I love, like a good, you know, veggie, whatever, and the person that I'm with doesn't like vegetables, and if they're like making me feel uncomfortable for eating vegetables, I'd be like, get off, man, like let me eat my food. So I try and give that same courtesy to other people. And the reason why is because I think that, one, you know, what works for me isn't gonna be what works for everybody else, but two, it's also that I just feel like open-minded conversations only ever come when you stay open-minded to the person you're around. And so anytime I do get the chance to talk about being vegan and eating a plant-based lifestyle with anyone that isn't plant-based or vegan, if it goes from like an open-minded like place, you know, like an open-minded point of view, then a lot of the times we get into like the core values of it, because that's automatically what I would say keeps me vegan. And the core values of being plant-based are this, for me anyways. It's, well, number one, I know that everything that's on my plate, like, I don't have to question where it came from or how it was obtained. Now, I say that in the sense of like, if it's obviously not meat, it's not coming from an animal. And how it was obtained in the sense of dairy can actually be just as bad, if not worse, in terms of the means in which they get the dairy from the cow or whatever animal it is, like a chicken even too, when it comes to eggs. And so a lot of that just really doesn't sit right with me. And once I had opened my mind up to that, it's really hard for me to unsee it on my plate. So I think that the value system that comes for me in terms of what I value most and what sits right with me, it just, even when I was little, I was just like, I don't know what it is, but there's something about a chicken breast or thigh that just really grossed me out. Like, I was like, I don't want to eat another animal's boob or another animal's leg, you know? That just seems very like cannibalism to me. I don't know why my brain worked that way, but it did. And so again, I'm not saying that that needs to be the case for everybody. There's so much we could talk about in this topic, because there's just like there's the environmental aspect of it. there's the health aspect of it, but when it boils down to it, it's mainly just the humanity of it. That's kind of where my mind gets stuck on. It just sat right with who I feel like I am, or I'm trying to be, or align most with to my core. So I guess that was the second thing. And then the third thing is that I absolutely just love the way eating vegan makes me feel. Now, I am somebody that, because I have pretty like fluctuating anxiety, I think that it's getting better in my life for sure. But I think because I've always kind of dealt with panic attacks and feeling a little bit more anxious than usual, there's times that my anxiety can peak a lot of digestion issues, and that's totally normal. If you suffer from any kind of anxiety, a lot of the times, especially if you suffer from any kind of anxiety or panic attack, all the blood in your system kind of just like pulls away, and any food or anything that's like in your stomach, it tries to just like flush you out so that you're ready to basically just run or like fight, you know what I mean? And so because of that, I've always kind of dealt with getting like extremely bloated, getting really uncomfortable, having really bad stomach pains and cramps, and that's just kind of been a norm for me, or it is a norm for me, especially when my anxiety is at its peak. So when I started incorporating eating more vegan, I had been vegetarian from the time I was 12 up until about 18, tried to do vegan, didn't stick to it right away, and then I went back vegan when I was 22. So I think it was 22, it was 2013. Anyway, skip forward to now, I'm so used to eating vegan that I've kind of realized that a lot of the times, I think the reason why I feel better on certain days than other days is even just noticing that I'm eating a healthier abundance of vegan foods versus like the more processed foods. That can even be for any of you guys watching out there that aren't plant-based. It's just a matter of eating more whole foods than eating, you know, processed foods. And that's, you know, just like a whole thing that I just dove into this year and last year, I would say, is that I really tried to start moving away from packaged foods and moving more into like fresh produce and eating more, you know, starchy grains like rice and rice noodles and vegetables, a lot of greens, a lot of proteins like vegan proteins like tofu, tempeh, beans, all that good stuff. And just in doing that, I've noticed, well, one, what foods actually do still kind of trigger, you know, like indigestion in my body, but most of the foods that I eat, especially if I'm eating at home, I just feel like $1 million freaking dollars. Like I feel like I have a lot of energy, I feel like my skin glows, I feel like everything just kind of, you know, goes back into balance for me, and that's huge because I'm a very sensitive person and I think a lot, like I overthink too much. So I think at times when I'm feeling out of balance, I'm always trying to find the answer, and in doing so, I'm always kind of like, ooh, maybe it's because I ate like crap and didn't sleep and didn't do this. But a lot of the times I think that when I'm eating healthy and I'm just in my routine and my regimen, like everything just feels like it just balances out, and then I just feel like I'm on top of my A game. So I feel like I've been rambling longer than 5 minutes today, so I guess I'll stop it there. If you guys want, we can talk more about this topic. I never know if it's gonna be a touchy subject or not, but I guess it doesn't really matter because, like, I don't know, at the end of the day, what else would we talk about, right? I can only talk about the things I'm an expert in, and I'm only expert in the things that I've already experienced in my life. But as always, if you guys have any future topics that you guys want to do in Daily Brews, especially for the July Daily Brews, because I'm taking down lists, let me know down below. And also too, I always leave like a question related to our Daily Brew topic in the description box, so definitely go check that out, copy and paste it into the comment section and leave me your answer, and I will talk to all of you guys tomorrow morning. Bye guys.